Hi, I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, good communication, how to build strong family bonds, all through the lens of the principle self-government. And I'm a spiritual person. And in this video, we're talking about the spirit-led system that helps families thrive. In this video, we're going to be talking about the problems that are facing families and why they're craving to have more of a spiritual feeling in their homes. And then we're going to talk about how to lead with spirit in your homes and how to teach your children to listen to the spirit. And we're going to talk about some skills that you can use for greater communication success. So first, let's talk about what's going on in families. Parents and children, they're struggling. There is so much conflict. My children for years have, talked with friends and coworkers, and they hear what's going on in their families, and they're like, "Oh, Mom, I am so sad that for my friend that they're facing this, and I'm so glad that our family didn't go through that. I felt like our home was so safe and we could just talk about anything, and we did talk about anything, and if we got corrected, it was no big deal." But I see people, if anyone tells them to make a change, like their parent tells them, "Hey, you should make this change," or a boss tells them to make a change, they just get all angry and get aggressive with everybody. And it's just so hard to be around, especially when you know that it's not that hard to just learn a skill and change it. And I'll look at my child and say, "Well, it's harder than you think if you haven't been raised with it. It takes some practice." And he's like, "But do people really want to feel that way, Mom? It just doesn't feel good to feel contention." True. And this is because you can't have the spirit with you. A lot of families are distracted, maybe self-focused. Each individual is focusing on themselves all the time. They're disconnected from each other. And then when they try to connect, it gets angry, it gets emotional, it gets manipulative. And so they just hope enough time will go by, I think, sometimes, that all of that will just melt away, and they don't ever deliberately talk about it or address it. And in the meantime, that hurts their relationships. And this is where a lot of families find themselves. So what can we do about that? Well, you want a spirit-led system, right? That means you've got to have the spirit. And that also means your child has to be able to recognize the spirit and be able to have the spirit too. So recently I had a visitor come to my home, and she stayed for a few days, and she was from a whole other place in the world. I love her. She came to stay at my house, and at the end of leaving, she's like, I don't even want to go. I just love what it feels like here." What was she feeling? She was feeling the Holy Spirit. When people gravitated toward the episode of The World's Strictest Parents that our family was on, which you can see reaction videos to that and a lot more things here on this channel, that happened back in 2009. People were like, "What is it with that one?" And it became the most watched episode that they ever had on the BBC. Why? The Spirit. People felt something that felt safe, comfortable, nurturing, foundational. It was the Spirit. So my husband and I, in all of our years of doing therapeutic treatment care for troubled teens and raising our children, we focused very heavily on keeping that Spirit with us at all times, which means we had to be calm all the time. If you're angry, aggressive, taking things personally, that's the biggest one. Don't take things personally. You have to tell yourself, that's just a no answer. What is a no answer? That's part of the teaching self-government system. So now here we go, right? Getting into some of this stuff that we can teach. There are 4 basic skills in the teaching self-government parenting system. They are following instructions, accepting no answers and criticism, accepting consequences, and disagreeing appropriately. These children's books each teach one of those 4 basic skills to children because each of the skills has a skill set attached to it. For instance, this book here, Porter Earns a Quarter, teaches the skill accepting no answers. I just talked about that one. So accepting no answers has 4 steps to it. The steps are to look at the person or the situation. You could think any situation. So parent, think, what is your situation? Child is angry right now. That's your situation. Keep a calm face, voice, and body. Do you know what your calm is and what it isn't? And when you're truly calm, your brain is actually at rest, okay? If your brain is not at rest, you are not calm. So even if your body looks calm or your voice even sounds calm, that does not mean you are calm. So please keep that in mind, okay? Then, step number 3, you say, okay, Or you ask to disagree appropriately, meaning if a person's yelling at me or they're angry at me, I say, okay, that's where they're at. And if I feel I could, if they're calm enough, I might disagree appropriately with them. But otherwise I say, okay, and I drop the subject, which means I'm not going to get emotional about this either. Now I'm going to instruct myself, that's this skill, following instructions in this book, on how I can handle the situation, what skills I have, how I can correct my child. That brings me into the 5 teaching styles. So in my book, Parenting a House United, I talk about 5 teaching styles, or 5 ways that parents teach their children self-government. One of those 5 teaching styles is a correction. How do we do a proper correction in a calm and effective manner? That would be what I would instruct myself to do. So an effective correction starts with a description, a rationale, another description, then the person earns a negative consequence. You practice things the right way. You praise them about 5 times during this process. Give them the opportunity to accept their negative consequence. You praise them again. And you should feel closer to your child during and after a correction than you even did before. So all of the steps to that are contained in this book. Also, there's a lot more information about corrections and really extreme behaviors, especially in my course, the TSG Parenting course on my website, teachingselfgovernment.com. So I believe in parenting by the Spirit. But this doesn't mean that it all changes every single time. I think that people think that when you're leading out with the Spirit, that it's going to always be creative. Who came up with that? Maybe people think because each of us are individual that every single moment is not going to be the same. One person's behavior might be a little bit different than this person's behavior, that then I have to change up the parenting every time. The consequences have to change, the conversation has to change every single time. But that's actually not true. So if you will think to your spiritual foundation, there are core tenets, right? There's a core book, there's beliefs, there's things that you hold on to. They don't change. They're always there. If you are not supposed to lie, you're not supposed to lie, period, principle. Okay, that's it. So I parent by principle, which means it can be broadly applicable to any circumstance. So I'm going to teach them ahead of time, just like God teaches us ahead of time. Here's the commandments. Follow those commandments. Here's how to love your neighbor. Jesus set the example, right? Those types of things. We are taught those things. So I'm going to teach those things to my children, as well as I'm going to teach them, here are the 4 basic skills of self-government. Here are the 5 teaching styles that I'm going to do. Here's how to do a problem-solving switch in your brain if you need it. Here's a skill for calmness, how to get calm when you are feeling like you're going out of control. This is the way we're going to handle all these circumstances. Then in the moment when something happens, I think to myself, okay, self, am I calm? And I check myself. I go through my own calm plan, and then I say, okay, I am calm. Now, what are the words that I told them that I would say? What skill do I have that helps me with this circumstance right now? And let's say they're yelling, it's not my dish night. I don't want to do the dishes. You're making this up. Maybe they're getting angry at me. Then I might say something to them like, it seems to me that you want to tell me something about the dishes. And I want to know what that is. But we need to choose to be calm first. Then we can talk about it. I've told the children, we're not going to talk unless it's calm. If you ever start not being calm, I'm going to say, it seems to me you want to tell me something about whatever it is. And then I'll say, but we need to choose to be calm first, then we can talk about it. I stick to the script. I say those words. Then I go into my teaching interaction that I've prepared, that I taught them ahead of time, that I would do to help them choose calmness. So I might go to an effective correction, I might go to an intensive teaching interaction, and depending on their age, I might handle that one of 2 ways. But I would have taught them ahead of time exactly what it is that I'm going to be doing. And then I simply have to follow through. Now you tell me which is more like God's way. Could our circumstance be different? Did one child hit another child and another child come in late from their curfew? Yes. The child who came in late from curfew did not follow instructions. So they need to be corrected for the skill not following instructions. The child who hit another child, they did not accept a no answer. Every boundary line is a no answer. They didn't do the 4 steps to accepting a no answer. They didn't stay calm. They didn't keep a calm face, voice, and body, and they didn't drop the subject. Or they didn't disagree appropriately. Those are all steps in accepting a no answer. And so they need to be corrected for that. So I don't need to spend time talking about hitting versus not hitting per se, or curfew versus not curfew per se. I just need to talk about what steps to the skill they missed so they can work on it next time. And really, this is how it works with all of us. Every time we make a mistake, doesn't it come back to one of the same vices? It does. There's so much more that I could share with you, and I would love for you to have more information on these skills. But this video is coming to an end, so I'd like to refer you to a full-length class all about the skills and principles of self-government so that you can get more details. And that video is called The Not-So-Known Secret for Parenting Success. Click on the link to that video next. I'll see you there.